Hare Krishna. Okay, so today's chapter 8, Akshar Brahma Yoga, that is attaining the Supreme. Now, what is yoga? What is yoga, anyone? Any idea what is yoga?
Union with God, Mataji.
Yes, correct. Very nice. Union with God, that is connection to God, connecting to God. So what all kind of yoga are there that we have learned so far? Anybody?
Bhakti yoga, karma yoga, also Ashtanga yoga.
Very good. Karma yoga, Ashtanga yoga,
Jnana yoga.
any other yoga?
Jnana yoga.
Jnana yoga, very nice. So karma yoga we have done, jnana yoga we have done, karma sannyasa yoga we have done, dhyana yoga we have done, right? Seventh jnana vijnana yoga also we have done. But they say, what is the topmost yoga? Any idea? What is the topmost yoga?
Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti yoga, very nice, excellent. So here Akshara Brahma Yoga, this chapter 8. Akshara here means indestructible, imperishable, it won't perish. And Brahma is there, we are going to learn about him. So we are going to see how we can attain the Supreme. So this chapter here, it deals with imperishable and absolute nature of God. So who is imperishable except God, right? So we are also going to see Pranava mantra Om. It symbolizes it. So that is why, because Akshara, it also symbolizes Om. So it is entitled Akshara Brahma Yoga. So in this chapter, Arjuna is going to ask questions to Krishna. So Krishna, he is going to ask Krishna. Krishna says that if you are able to remember me at the time of death, we will be able to attain him. So alongside with our daily work, whatever we are doing, every day we do something or the other, right? We must always practice thinking of God. We should at least practice that. And how can we do that? By thinking about his qualities, Krishna's personality, his colorful nature, his attributes, his forms, his leelas. You can think in any way, while driving, while sitting, while walking, while taking bath, anything you're doing. Krishna, if we can just imagine him and keep thinking about him, then we are going to see material versus material world versus spiritual world. We are going to see both. Then supremacy of pure bhakti in attaining Krishna. That is what we are going to learn. So at the end of 7th chapter, the last shloka, what Lord Krishna said was, Sadhi bhutadi devam mam Sadhi yajnam cha ye vidu prayana kale picha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. So he is going to Sadhi bhuta. What is Adi Devam? What is Adi Yajnam? So prayana kale, when we are leaving the body, what will happen? All this is mentioned in the last shloka. So Brahman, Adi Bhuta, Adhyatma, everything is saying. But he did not give any detail because he was leaving it for this chapter. So let's see. Arjuna uvacha kim tat brahma kim adhyatmam kim karma purushottama adibhutam cha kim proktam adidaivam kim uchyate. Yes, please.
Arjuna inquired, O my lord, O supreme person, what is Brahman? What is the self? What are future activities? What is this material manifestation and what are the demigods? Please explain this to me.
So this chapter 8 is opening with Arjuna asking Supreme, and he's addressing Lord Krishna, Purushottama. He said Supreme Person, Purush Uttam, the best of the Purushas. He is Purushottam, Supreme Person. He's not, it indicates that he is not putting to any friend. This question is not posing it to any friend. He's posing it to the Supreme Person because he'll get supreme answer. So he knows he has got full authority on this and he'll give a definite answer. And here, how many questions is he asking overall? Let's see the next shloka and then I will continue. Adiyajñah katam kotra dehesmin madhusudana prayanakali cha katam jneyosi niyatatmabhihi.
How does this Lord of Sacrifice live in the body and in which part does he live? O Madhusudana, and how can those engaged in devotion service know you at the time of death?
So he is asking 7 questions in 2 shlokas, first and second shlokas. He has asked 7 questions to Krishna, right? And Krishna will answer all in 26 shlokas thereafter. 28 shlokas total, 2 questions. Arjuna has posed 7 questions total in that. In these 2 verses, what is he putting? He's putting forth 7 questions. What is that? He's asking, what is Brahman? Okay. Kim Tad Brahma. What is Brahman? Absolute reality. What is Adhyatma? Kim Adhyatma? Kim Karma? What is Karma? He's asking. Adibhutam. What is Adibhuta? So Kim Proktam? Adidaivam. What is Adidaiva? He doesn't know. He's asking. What is Adi Yajna? Adi Yajna Katham Kotra. What is Kotra means what is it? What is Adi Yajna? He's asking. And then next one, Prayana Kale Katham. So what happens to the body? What happens remembering God? What is 7th question is regarding remembering God at the time of death. So Lord Krishna himself introduced this at the end of 7th chapter, right? So he wants Arjuna, naturally wants him to elaborate on this further. He says, can you please tell me a little bit more? Because Lord of sacrifice can be referred to even Indra also, right? When Govardhan Parvat was happening, that they wanted to do the yajna for Indra. So it can mean Indra also or Vishnu also. So he wants to clarify that. But here actually he wants to know who is actually the Lord of yajnas and how the Lord residing within the body of all living entities. He is also addressing Adhiyagyam Katham Kotra Dehesmin Madhusudana. Madhusudana, he says. Because why is he addressing him as Madhusudana? Because he had killed, Krishna had killed demon Madhu. That is why Madhusudana, the one who has killed demon Madhu. So in a way, why did he use the word Madhusudana? Also symbolically, we can say that as he had killed the demon Madhu, even the doubts like he is having in his mind also should be gone. It should be killed away. Prayana Kale is also very significant over here because whatever we do in this life, whatever, it will be tested at the time of death. So he's very anxious to know of those who are actually and constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness. What will be their position at the final moment, Krishna? At the time of death, body doesn't function well. It's disrupted. The mind is not in proper condition. So with this kind of bodily disturbance, and we may not even able to remember Krishna. So what will happen? So let's see the meaning, because this will go on till 26 shlokas. So we should thoroughly understand what it means. Brahman. Brahman means Jiva, indestructible living entity. So Adhyatma, the controller of the body, it's the nature of the Jiva, right? Adhyatma. Karma, we know, actions which lead to this kind of body that we get. Adibhuta is the whole material nature. Adi Deva, the universal form of God, where all the demigods are there, everything, sun, moon, everything is there. Then Adi Yajna, the super soul inside us, the Paramatma. And where does the Adi Yajna reside? Of course, in our heart, right? And then how to remember Krishna at the time of death. So how to remember? Krishna says, you have to practice to remember him throughout the life. Krishna says in chapter 6 also, right? Asamshayam mahabhavo manodurnigraham chala abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Abhyasena tu kaunteya. You have to do abhyasa. You don't have any shortcut there. Lifelong, keep practicing, right? So life is the preparation, examination, and death is the examination. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha Aksharam Brahma Paramam Swabhavodhyatma Muchyate Bhuta Bhavodbhava Karaha Visarga Karma Sangitaha.
The Supreme Lord said the indestructible transcendental living entity is called Brahman and his eternal nature is called the Self. Actions pertaining to the development of these material bodies is called karma or fruitive activities.
See, this material nature, we can take any body, out of 84 lakhs form species. We can take any form. We can become an ant, we can become a spider, we can become an animal, dog, beast, anything. We can take any body. But in spiritual nature, we have only one body. Material nature, 84 lakh species. You can imagine what we can become according to our karma. So in material nature, whatever we do, sometimes we may appear in human form, that is right now, right? Sometimes we can even go up to become a deity, or sometimes animal, birds, we can become anything. With the desire to attain heaven and enjoy the pleasures there, sometimes we do yajnas. But when those good pious deeds get over, the credit is over, right? The bank account becomes empty. They have to come back to the earth in human form. That is karma. But Krishna consciousness person, he stays away from all this. He says, I want to be in devotional service. I want to think about Krishna 24/7. I don't want anything. I just want to love Krishna and I want to be at his lotus feet. That's it. And he prepares himself to go back to the Lord. Maya Mataji, do you have something to say? Hare Krishna. You have raised your hand. That's why I'm asking. Okay. So 8.4. Adibhutam ksharo bhavaha purushashchadidaivatam adiyajñohamevatra dehe deha bhritambara.
Physical nature is known to be endlessly mutable. The universe is the cosmic form of the Supreme Lord, and I am that Lord represented as the Supersoul dwelling in the heart of every embodied being.
Do you see that butterfly over there and that caterpillar? So the example that Srila Prabhupada gives in his purport is of a caterpillar. Caterpillar which thinks of becoming butterfly, right? And mind you, and in the very same life, it turns into a butterfly. It is first a caterpillar, but then in the very same life, it turns into a butterfly. So looking at this, Srila Prabhupada says in his purport, it gives us hope. So what is that hope? That hope that's similar to caterpillar. If we also constantly think of Krishna, it is certain that at the end of our life, we will have the same physical constitution qualitatively as Krishna. Qualitatively, we cannot become Krishna. Quantitatively, no, he is whole. We are part and parcel. But quality-wise, we can attain Krishna consciousness. And we can become Krishna conscious and Krishna. If we continuously think 24/7 by chanting Hare Krishna, what will happen? What is the meaning? Why should we chant? People ask why. It will purify us. It cleans us. You know, we have to clean inside and outside. So it will purify us. And at the end of our life, we will be transferred to the kingdom of Krishna or Goloka Vrindavan. That is why if we can learn a great lesson by seeing caterpillar turning into butterfly. The best question is how to attain Krishna at the time of death. So why does Arjuna ask this question? Why? How to attain Krishna at the time of death? Why is he asking such a question? Right? What do you think? Okay, we all know our manufacturing date, right? When we were born. But do we know our expiry date? No one
Yeah,
knows when we
probably
are
even
going to die.
Arjuna Mataji was curious to understand what will happen after death.
Yeah, very true, Prabhuji. So, and we all know when we were born, right? We know our birth dates. But you ask, when is your death date? Nobody will be able to tell. So what to? We must always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. That is the takeaway that we can think from here. That is a very, very important thing, that never forget Krishna. Antakale cha mameva smaran mukha kalevaram yah prayati samadbhavam yati nastitra samshayah.
And whoever at the time of death quits his body, remembering me alone at once, attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt.
So in this verse, the importance of Krishna consciousness is stressed. How? Now, can you see in this picture, who is lying in this picture? Anybody?
Vishwatama.
Yeah, Bhishma Pitama. What is he doing?
He is in his last breath.
Yeah, he's taking his last few breaths. Like what? Okay, what is he waiting for?
No, there was one
Uttarayana
lesson where he
Punyakala.
said, "I make me a
Uttarayana.
Srimati."
Yes, Mataji, please continue. Sorry.
Bhishma Pitama was telling Krishna that come stand near my feet so that I can see you nicely and take your darshan, and I want to make you my Srimati.
Okay.
That was something you taught us in one of the lessons.
Yeah, so Bhishma here, he's waiting also for Uttarayan to come so that he can leave his body. He's got a boon, right? Anyone knows what boon he got? He'd got a wish.
Mataji, he can choose his soul can choose the day he
Ichha
can leave the
mrityu.
body, Mataji.
Ichha Mrityu. He can choose his time of death. Very nicely said. Very nicely said. So if you leave the body while remembering Krishna, you will attain Krishna, that we all have read now. He was waiting for Krishna to come. So what did he chant while Krishna had not come? What was he chanting throughout? Anybody, any idea? What was he chanting? He was chanting Vishnu Sahasranam. Anyone knows any lines from Vishnu Sahasranam? Yes, please. Kamal Mataji.
Shuklam Varadram Vishnu Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna
Vishnu
Vadanam.
Sahasranam, Mataji.
Vishnave sir, Vishnave. Okay. No, I
Yeah.
no.
Om Vishwam Vishnur Vachatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhuta Krut Bhuta Vrutbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavana Bhutatma Paramatma Cha Muktanam Paramagati Avyaya Purusha Sakshi Kshetrajno Akshare Vacha. This is Sahasranam
Yog
of
Vidam
Vishnu,
Neta.
right?
Yeah.
And yeah, very nice. Thank you, Mataji. So this one, Sri Rama Rameti, anybody knows?
Shri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramnama Vadanane.
Very
Shri
nice.
Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame
Rame
Manorame
Manorame Sahasranama
Sahasranama Tattulyam Ramanama Vadanane.
Vadanane. Very good, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. This Shiva is telling Parvati that Sahasranam of Vishnu is equal to one name of Rama. You know, Sri Rama Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane. He's telling Lord Shiva is telling Parvati that 1,000 names of Vishnu is equal to one name of Ram, and 3 names of Rama is equal to one name of Krishna in Kali Yuga. So that is what is being told. And he was reciting Vishnu Sahasranam. Word Smaranam. Antakale cha mameva Smaranam. Smaranam is very important. Remembrance of Krishna is not possible for any impure soul who has not practiced Krishna consciousness. Suddenly you want, okay, Krishna, I should remember you. It's not easy. So we have to be in devotional service all throughout. Therefore, we have to practice Krishna consciousness from the beginning of our life. How? By chanting our Mahamantra, Hare Krishna. Like, if you have a project to finish, you have to prepare for your project beforehand, right? Not last minute. Similarly, we have to chant from now and not last minute. If you have any homework, you can't finish last minute. If you have an exam, you can't sit last moment and say, okay, I have to learn for my exam. No, you have to practice from the beginning to get good grades. To get good grades, mind you, last minute people study, but they don't get good grades. If you want to get good grades, you have to have proper preparation. Otherwise, you won't enter IIT. Your entrance will fail. So we have to prepare from now. So once what Yamraj asked Yudhishthira, let's see what he asked. He says, Ahani Ahani Bhutani Gachantiha Yamalayam Shesha Sthavaram Icchanti Kim Ashcharyam Atah Param.
King Yudhishthira replied, hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world.
This was in Srimad Bhagavatam also, 7th canto, chapter 2. If you see 57 chapter, verse 57, it is written that, everyone has to die because everyone is fully under the control of this Maya, right? But everyone thinks that he is independent, he can do whatever he likes, he is here for permanent sake, and he will never meet death, and he is going to live forever and so on, right? That's what people think. So-called scientists also are making various plans also that, living entities can live in the future, they can live forever. But while they are pursuing their scientific research, without their knowledge, the Yamaraja has in due course of time is going to take them away also from their business of the research work that they are trying to do. They are not understanding. We are mortal beings. We don't have that kind of Shakti. So how to think of Krishna at the time of death? What does Krishna say? Krishna says mental. Means what? Think of me in form of Shyam Sundar Krishna and chant Hare Krishna. Mentally we can do that, right? Chanting. Physically what we can do? Carry out the prescribed duty, but dedicate it to me. Do your duty. Nobody should sit, do no inaction. Action, but dedicate the result to Krishna. Intellectually, what we can do? Mind and intelligence should be fixed on Krishna. That is what Krishna is advising us to do. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tamaivetik vaiti kaunteya sada tat bhava bhavitaha.
Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail.
Krishna is, what does he state? Whatever thoughts are prominently dominating our person's mind at the moment of death, that is going to determine his next birth. It is very difficult to attain God realization, right? By how to meditate God at the time of death, right? Even when we are trying to plan a travel to some country, we plan it very carefully, right? Before we execute it. We cannot make plans after we pack our baggage and everything. We cannot go to the airport, sit there and in the waiting area and start planning our trip. No, we have to have a proper plan. Where are we going? What are we going to do? Do we have a hotel to stay, or are we going to somebody's house? Where are we going to be stationed? Everything we have to plan. Similarly, we have to plan our journey of life also. From now onwards, don't wait till the flight has taken off. After death, I will plan. You cannot plan. You have no time. According to your karma, you may take animal body also. Then you don't even have this chance. Human body is the only chance you get. So, when we are still in this human body, we don't know what kind of body we will take. So better start planning from now onwards. You have seen Maharaj Bharat's condition, right? We did this story last time. How he was thinking about the deer at the end of the life and he became deer. But he was a spiritual being, so he could remember, right? It is according to Skanda Purana, thinking of God at the time of death is very, very difficult, not easy. So if in one's present life, if we are living in the mode of goodness and always thinking of Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life, right? So the takeaway from this shloka that I feel is, while living this life, we are already creating the next life. Because if we are doing bad karmas, we know what kind of life you are creating for the next. So we have to be very careful. So when to prepare? Question is, we have to prepare right now. What is the syllabus of it? Syllabus is Krishna. And death is awaiting us. It's a surprise test, We are saying 1 minute, it is going to pull us. So how to prepare? Chant. Read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Association of Devotees, devotional service. When? 24/7, 365 days. There is no day you should not remember Krishna. What will be the result here? You will be having freedom from birth, death, old age, and disease. So we will be free. So life is preparation and death is examination. Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhya cha mayyarpitamano buddhi mame vaishyasya samshayah.
Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt.
Very clearly is saying, do your duty with your body, mind you fix it on me. You are a warrior, you are a kshatriya, fight. That is your duty. But Krishna also says that even in the middle of the battle also, keep your mind fixed on me. You focus there, but always you should understand who you are doing it for. Same message is for everyone. You are a student, you are a lawyer, you are an engineer, you are a housewife, doctor, whatever profession you might be in. We often disregard worldly duties and responsibilities, saying, I cannot take up family responsibilities because I have to lead a spiritual life. On the other hand, some people also say that, I'm so busy in my daily activities, daily work, daily engagement, no time to have practice spirituality. In Mahabharata war, Arjun fulfilled his duties as a Kshatriya and he fought the war. He fought very valiantly without any attachment or worldly gain. He did not think about anything, what he is going to get for. I have to fight, I will fight. He followed completely, followed Lord Krishna's instructions. He kept, kept his mind constantly attached to God. That is why at the end of the war also Lord Krishna said, Arjuna, you have not accrued any bad karmas, okay? Don't worry. Some people claim, to be karma yogis because they practice both karma and yoga. Every day they will do their worldly activities, come back, sit on the mat and do some few exercises. And they think that they are doing it. No, that's not karma yoga, right? That's not what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. He says karma yoga is only two conditions. What is that? While doing any work, mind should always be thinking of God. Remembrance of God should be constant throughout the day and not like, in intervals. Like young Prahalad, you can see in the picture. Don't think that I will start when I will retire, get older. That is the right time to say. Some people also say, what are you doing listening Bhagavad Gita? Let's go party. What are you doing? That's not we should get into. So Krishna will stress the importance of remembering him. But how? Abhyasa yoga yuktena chetasa nanya paramam purusham divyam yati parthanu chintayan.
He who meditates on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his mind constantly engaged in remembering me, undeviated from the path, he, O Partha, Arjuna, is sure to reach me.
So Krishna is saying you must do abhyas, right? Nature of mind is running around. It runs in different directions. So we have to steady the mind. With regular practice, we can stop it from running into different directions. So Lord Krishna is telling that we must train our mind. We must get into that habit of meditating upon God. It has to be, part and parcel of our daily activity. You should have a discipline. Get up at so and so time. Do this much of meditation. Do this much of sadhana. Very important. He has repeated this instruction, that we must engage our mind in constant devotion towards God, do devotional service. He has said so many times in Bhagavad Gita, right? He keeps saying abhyasa. Even chapter 6 we learned, right? Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena it's a grihate, right? Like Ajamila. You can see in the picture, he's Ajamila. He reached Vishnu Loka. He reached God's abode. Who was he? Who was Ajamila? So Ajamila, it said in a second chance, right? Story again. He was a young Brahmin. I will tell very quickly because then we'll keep on, Okay. He was a very compassionate, very nice, very good Brahmin. He lived with his parents, wife, children. He always chanted God's name, prayers, mantras, everything. One day what happened? He went to a forest to collect some wood and some flowers, I think, yeah, for a deity worship. There he saw a drunkard man who was shamelessly kissing a prostitute. So Ajamila got attracted to that woman. He knew it was not right. He knew it was not appropriate of him doing that. But despite his, he could not control his mind. So he could not get rid of the thoughts of her. He was so forced by his desire that he just moved in with her and fell down from his pure lifestyle. Started drinking, became a cheater, started stealing, gambler. His heart became very cruel. He wasn't great. And with the prostitute, he had many sons, 10 sons. The last one was called Narayana. He was very attached to the youngest one. So he would always play with him, call Narayana, Narayana, and all that. He would not even eat and drink without him. So then he started getting old, very old. At the age of 88, till then he was not unmindful. He was not knowing that death is inevitable, right? One night he was half asleep. He saw Yamadutas approaching him, ferocious beings with all the ropes and all. Ajamila recognized them as, oh my God, Yamadutas are coming, servants of Yama. Oh my God, what to do now? They are going to take me to Yamaraj now. He was so terrified. Narayana, 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 please come, Narayana, 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 come, 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 from his heart. Because he chanted the holy name of Narayana, and actually he was calling his son, right? But beautiful Vishnu Dutas, they came immediately. They just looked like Lord Vishnu only. They immediately came and they were asking, what are you doing here, Yamadutas? They said, oh, he is, we are taking him to Yamaraja. I said, no, 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 you can't take him to Yamaraja. So Vishnu, this Yamadutas say, who are you to prevent us from taking? He is a very sinful person. We are taking him to our master. So Lord Yama is our master. He will punish him. He has led a very sinful life. So Ajamila, he left his parents, he left his young wife, his children, and he's living with it. He deserves to be punished. Vishnuduta said, I don't know. No doubt he maybe have been a sinner, but since he chanted Lord's name with so much of power, even though he might have been calling his son, but still he immediately comes under Narayana's protection. Last minute he's calling Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. So all his sins are eradicated. At the time of death, if you take the name of Lord, and therefore he is exempted from the punishment by Yama. After a lot of discussions, heated discussions between them, Yamaduta left and they went to Yamaraja and they said we were bringing him, the Vishnu Dutas, they didn't allow us to bring. So Yamaraja said, okay, listen to me now. Never bring Lord's devotee to me. Only bring who has never chanted Lord's name, okay? Whose ears have never heard Lord's name. So please don't bring such people, otherwise let them take. Ajamila realized I was on the verge of death. Yamadutas were just going to drag me. I took the name of Narayana. I've got second life. After understanding all that, he left everything. He went into spiritual pursuit. And in the end, Vishnu Dutas came on a swan aeroplane and they escorted Ajamila back to the heavenly spiritual realm. Nice story, right? We learned that. Last minute he could say Narayana. Now Krishna is telling how we can remember him, how we can meditate upon Krishna. He's giving us many ways to remember him. Kavim Puranam Anushasitaram Anoraniyam Samanusmaretyaha Sarvasya Dhataram Achintya Rupam Aditya Varnam Tamasah Parastat.
One should meditate upon the Supreme Person as the one who knows everything, as He who is the oldest, who is the controller, who is smaller than the smallest, who is the maintainer of everything, who is beyond all material conception, who is inconceivable, and who is always a person. He is luminous like the sun, and being transcendental is beyond this material nature.
So, like I said, we can meditate upon Krishna. Several ways he is giving us. How? We can learn about, take his name, we can take his form, leelas, abodes of God. There is no difference, right? He has mentioned 8 such divine aspects in this. Kavim means what? Kavi means who knows past, present, and future. Puranam, he is very old personality. He is the origin of everything. Anushasita, he is the supreme controller of this whole university. Anoraniyam, he is smallest of the smallest, right? So he says he's as small as the living entity. How small is it? The soul, 1/10,000th part of a tip of a hair. That small is our soul, right? He can be smaller than that to enter the heart. You can imagine. Therefore, he is the smallest of the smaller than the smallest. So he can enter into an atom. He can enter into the smallest and control as the super soul. Sarvasya Dhataram means he is very small, but he is all pervading. He is maintainer of the whole world, right? Achintya Rupa. This is very significant. God's energy is beyond our imagination. We can't even imagine. It's beyond our jurisdiction also. That is why he's called Achintya, inconceivable. We cannot imagine how he is, right? So he is maintaining this whole planetary system. They're so big, they're floating in the air. Without his energy, it's not possible, right? Aditya Varnam. Means he is Aditya means what? Sun god, right? It's the name of a sun god. So here God is dazzling like the sun. Tamasah arasta. How the sun removes the darkness? Lord Krishna, with his effulgence, he is going to remove our darkness. In a way, our mode of ignorance. If we chant Krishna's name, if we are into Krishna consciousness, he is the one. He takes the responsibility to eliminate the ignorance from our heart. He will make us pure. Like, for example, on a cloudy day, we cannot see the sun. But that does not mean that sun is not there, right? Sun is there. It's optical illusion for us. Sun is where it is. Similarly, Lord is there. We don't have the vision to see him, right? We may get the question why we can worship Krishna in so many ways. Well, that way Krishna is very kind, very merciful. He has given us a lot of choices. We have different choices, and according to our nature, we can do, and according to our past samskaras, from endless lifetimes it's coming. So according to us, we can do the way we want. Like, for example, say I give this example, my friend and I go to a sari shop. Her choices are different. My choices are different. She may want a different color. I may like a different color. Her budget might be different. My budget might be different. We go to that same shop, but we have different preferences, right? So the sari shop person, he will have all varieties of saris to cater to our choices and preferences, right? So we can go, we can choose the way we want. Similarly, in Vedic scriptures, they also offer us different spiritual paths based on our level of sadhana. Whatever we have performed in the past, we may choose a suitable path, whatever is suitable to us. Ultimately, what is important is bhakti, devotion to God. That is going to tie all these paths are going. But unless until we have bhakti in the end, that is the one that is going to bind together in one common thread all these paths. So attaining the Supreme, how to attain, why to attain the Supreme, and what do they attain as a result? Let's see. How to attain the Supreme? Ananyacheta satatam yomam smarati nityashah tasyaham sulabha partha nityayuktasya yoginah.
For one who always remembers me without deviation, I am easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service.
First time in Bhagavad Gita, Lord is saying he's easy to attain. See, one who always, I'm easy to obtain. First time we are seeing that he says easy to obtain. But to whom? Ananya Cheta Satatam means to a person who's completely absorbed exclusively in God worship. See, he is easy to obtain, but then again there is a but. So he says, Ananya. Ananya means no other. No other. Thus, the precondition is attaining God is exclusive devotion. We have to have. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has stressed upon devotion, right? Keeps telling, devote your time, surrender to him, surrender to me. Ananya chintayanto mam yejana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamiham, he says. Tameva sharanam gacha sarvabhavena bharata, he says. Sharanam gacha mam ekam sharanam raja in 18th chapter. So many, everywhere he's saying, just surrender, to purify our mind. If we keep purifying our mind, we will be able to attain him through devotion. So worldly attachments are not only binding, they are imperfect, they cause a lot of impurity to mind. Our mind is here, sitting here. After a while, we go out in the party mood, we forget everything. You know how it is? Take a cloth, apply some soap. It's a dirty cloth. You have applied soap. You have cleaned it with pure water. Now with Bhagavad Gita, we are becoming pure. Clean it. Again, put it back in the unclean water. That is how it is happening. So what will happen? The effort all goes waste. Ultimate aim of sadhana is to purify the mind. If the mind itself is not purified, there is no point of doing anything. So how can it be done? How to purify the mind? It can be done by attaching the mind to God, who is all pure. He is all pure. So attach to him, detach from there, attach to him. Simple. But simple, saying is simple, doing is practice, abhyasena. So why attain the Supreme? Mamupetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam Napnuvanti mahatmanaha samsiddhim paramam gataha.
After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world, which is full of miseries, because they have attained the highest perfection.
Temporary world. Why attain the supreme? Because this is temporary. This is full of miseries. It has birth, old age, disease, death. Naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection, he will attain Goloka Vrindavan. So why attain the supreme is very clear. We don't want to come back. We don't want to come back to this Dukkhalayam. So what happens if we attain God? Once we realize the God, we are liberated. We don't have to come back here. We are out of this cycle of life and death. So when does the struggle start? Basically, it starts right inside the mother's womb. We are hanging upside down for 9 months. Imagine how painful it is. Then another painful process is coming out. And then we are delivered into unknown world. We don't even know anybody. We are coming into a strange world. We don't know who it is. And then we have to cry out for every need. Babies can't express. They have to keep crying. If we want to ask something, we have to cry. Then as we are growing, we learn to speak. We have to walk, eat. We have to learn every step of the way. Then comes teenage time. Nobody understands. And then there are mentally challenging phase, the teenage adolescence age. Then adults. Then marriage comes into the picture. Shadi karo to pashtao, na karo to pashtao. So it's so difficult. Then we have relationships. They test our patience, our endurance. Whether we have to accept it, we have to accommodate, we have to adjust so much. Struggling to maintain the social responsibilities. Tired, right? By the time we think, okay, things are under my control, and tada, comes the old age. What does it give? It gives us the gift of sadness, gives us sickness, gives us disease. All through our life, we suffer from pain and miseries, right? Who gives it? Of course, it is induced by our own body, our own mind, our own people around, surroundings, atmosphere. And then finally we die, which is again a painful process. We come into this world with a painful process. We go out of this world, painful process. But why does God put us into so much pain and misery? We get this question. Well, in God's grand design, the whole purpose of this misery is to make us realize that this is not your permanent abode. Because of karmas, you have come over here. This is a correction home. When we do wrong, we are put into juveniles are sent to correction home. We have also been sent to correction home. It is because we have forgotten God. We became too egoistic. We got trapped in this material world. So we have to come back into this. These sufferings and miseries that we get, it will help us. Oh my God, when you are very sad, we start remembering God, right? दुख में सुमिरन सब करे, सुख में करे ना कोई, जो सुख में सुमिरन करे तो दुख आए कोई, says Kabir, right? So these sufferings and misfortunes, they help soul to develop their attachment or desire for God, right? An example can be a person who accidentally puts his hand in hot boiling water. So what will happen? He will remove it. Oh my God, there's so much pain and burning sensation. So he's learning a lesson, right? Not to do the same deed again. Similarly, the pain and miseries that we are experiencing in this material world, it is trying to tell us, leave this dukkhalayam and go to Krishna's abode. Abrahma bhuvana lokaha punaravartino arjuna mamupete tu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate.
From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of miseries wherein repeated birth and death take place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again.
You can see the lokas in the picture. There are 14 worlds, 7 planes above the earth, with earth higher. Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satya, Loka, all these. The highest one is called Swargaloka, Satyaloka. Then 7 below. What are those? They are Narak, right? Naraka, we say Narak, Swarga or Narak. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, Patala. So these are all 14 planes of existence. They are all called lokas. There are various worlds of our universe. The Satyaloka are also called Brahmaloka. It's the Brahmaloka, it's the highest. And then Patal Loka is the lowest. These lokas are still under the realm of material energy. So whoever is living in all these 14 lokas, they still have to go through the cycle of birth and death, including Lord Brahma. It is because of the impermanent nature. Lord Krishna said, right, in the previous verse, what did he say? The world's to be ashashvitam, temporary, and it is dukkhalayam, full of miseries. So all those who are born in these lokas, they have to die someday. And the people on the earth, they can be elevated to higher planets as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, Indraloka, and they, if they're elevated, then after their pious death, they have to fall back on the earth. भूतग्रामस्य एवायं भूत्वा भूत्वा प्रलीयते रात्र्यागमेव शपार्थः प्रभवत्यहरागमे.
Again and again the day comes and this host of beings is active, and again the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved.
My God, why is it so temporary? So the less intelligent, those who don't understand so much, they might remain within the material world, right? And may be elevated to higher planets, but they have to come back to this world if they have finished with their pious credits. It is said in the shloka that during the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities, they come to manifest, right, in this material world. But as soon as it is Brahma's night time, all are annihilated. So ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, everybody is completely gone, and they remain unmanifested for millions and millions of years. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they again manifest. So this way the spell of material world goes on. This living entities, we are frozen. Like you have seen, right? If they want to say, they say you can freeze your egg in these labs to get a baby. So like this, we living entities, we are frozen at the end of the day, at Brahma's end of the day. And they thaw. Thaw means they put in microwave and heat it again. Like thaw means coming back to life. They thaw in the beginning of the day of Brahma. I'm just trying to analyze frozen and thaw. First, we are frozen into that, unmanifested. And then we are manifested. We come back to life, thaw. Beginning of day of Brahma. Brahma's day, we come back to life. Brahma's night, we are frozen. So this goes on indefinitely, but does not mean that our karma is gone. No, we are frozen. Karma, everything, mind, intelligence, ego, together, we are frozen. Then when we manifest again, we manifest back with whatever karmas we had done. So don't think karmas will become zero. So those who are intelligent, they take Krishna consciousness, right? They get into devotional service. They don't worry about anything except Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. They are not bothered about anything. So they transfer themselves even in this very life, like caterpillar to butterfly, into the spiritual planet of Krishna and become blissful there. They don't want to worry about anything except thinking about Krishna. So what are the real problems of this dukkhalayam? Birth, death, old age, disease, right? So we have, this is a temporary thing. It's a big headache. We have to get away from all this, is the takeaway. What do they attain? Avyaktoksara ityuktaha tamahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadhama paramam mama.
That which the Vedantists describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as the supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns, that is my supreme abode.
Krishna is giving little hint about his Goloka Vrindavan, right? In Bhagavad Gita, he's giving us how his spiritual world is. Small hint, Goloka Vrindavan. It's a supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. That's the ultimate destination that we have to go, right? In Katha Upanishad also it is said that Purusam na param kinchit sa katha parama gatihi. Means that is the param gatihi. When one attains to it, one never returns back to this material world. So that is the spiritual world we need to go to. So this is, you see, Goloka Vrindavan. You can see very clearly. And maybe the admins can share in the PDF form in the WhatsApp group that you have, right? So it is Goloka. The shloka is written on the screen. You can read that. Goloka namni nijadhamni talecha tasya. Goloka namni nijadhamni talecha tasya. Devi Mahesha Haridama Suteshu Teshu. Te prabha nichaya vitas yena Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. So it's the lowest one is Devi. Devi Dham, you can see in the picture. Devi Dham. Then above that is Mahesha Dham, abode of Mahesha. And that is placed, above that is Hari Dham, abode of Hari. And above them is located Krishna Loka, Krishna's own realm, Goloka Vrindavan. So Brahma is telling, I adore primeval Lord Krishna, Govinda. He has allotted different authorities, different places, you know. He has given different Hari Dham is there, Shiv Dham is there, Devi Dham is there, everywhere, all the dhams are over there, and Goloka Vrindavan is the supermost planet. You can see this, how these many planets are there, how this much. This will be shared with you if I think the admins can share. Vedeshu yajneshu tapassu chaiva daneshu yat punya phalam pradishtam atyeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param sthanam upaiti chatyam.
A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, of pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode.
See? Chapter 7 to chapter 12. This is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Never miss chapter 7 to 12, right? All the best things are always laid in between. If you see a pearl, what do you see in a pearl, right? Pearl, everything is in between. Like you see in the burger also, and in the pearl also. In between, there is a lid on the top and a lid at the bottom. In between, there is pearl. Even in the hamburger or burger that you eat, you have bread on the top, you have bread at the bottom, and then in between you have a salad. So the middle part is the most nutritious and most important. Same way the pearl within is most important. So chapter 7 to 12, they are like, you know, very important. And first 6 and last 6 are equally important, but they are coverings for the middle 6. So my middle 6 is basically about bhakti yoga, you know, especially this 7 to 12 has been protected by Lord. So we are very fortunate that we are able to understand Bhagavad Gita, especially these middle chapters with all of us together in association of devotees. Because Bhakti Yoga is what Gita is recommending above all other yogas. Without Bhakti, there is no point doing any yoga, because whatever yoga you do, ultimately you need devotion in order to reach Golok Dham. So we can engage in Bhakti in 5 different ways. Santa Bhakta is like neutral. You can just engage in devotional service in neutrality. Dasya Bhakta. You can be an eternal servitor of God, like Hanuman, right? Sakya Bhakta. We can be his friend. Keep talking to him. Hi God, how are you today? Hare Krishna. I did not have a good day. Help me. Whatever. This happened to me. That happened. You can go and talk to him like Arjuna. He was his friend. Vatsalya Bhakta. Engage as a parent. Look at him as your son or daughter, as a mother. You can look at him as your son. As a parent, you mean Vatsalya is like a parent, right? You can talk to him. You can take care of Krishna. Then Madhurya Bhakta. That is engaged in conjugal, lover of Krishna. So we can choose in any of the ways, whatever we feel is comfortable for us. A pure devotee is always constantly engaged in the loving service, in the devotional service of Lord Krishna. And that is how he is able to be in Krishna consciousness and ultimately go to Goloka Vrindavan, you know, where we are eternally happy. There is no dukkhalayam over there, right? Because other yogis, you know, they are checking at the time of death. Is it auspicious? Is it inauspicious? What time is he dying? Pure devotees, no botheration. They are not bothered about the time of the death, because any time is auspicious from there. They are totally in devotional service, right? So we have to decide. I hereby decide to chant at least 1 round of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Everyone, this is my humble request. 1 round. Those who are doing many, I am very grateful to you. But those who are not doing, please start at least one round of Hare Krishna. Can you all read this loudly? Everyone. Everyone unmute and read. Everyone. I request everyone once. Just unmute yourself and read this.
Mataji, Hare Krishna. I hereby decide to chant at least one round of Hare Krishna.
I hereby decide to chant at least one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra daily.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Please, this is very, very important for our soul. Very important for us. So with this, let's see what we learned in chapter 8. Arjuna had questions, right? So how to attain Krishna. He had 7 questions. The 8th one, Prayana Kale, what will happen to me? Then death, it's the final exam. When to prepare? We know when to prepare, right? All the time. Syllabus is Krishna, and then how to prepare for it. You have to keep chanting, read Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, association of devotees, right? And eat Krishna Prasadam and be happy. What will be the result? We will be free from the cycle of birth and death. How to attain the Supreme, why to attain the Supreme, what do we attain, that we learned. Then pure devotion is the best. Other yogis, they wait for the auspicious time. Pure devotees don't bother what is auspicious, what is inauspicious. Everything is auspicious for them because they are continuously 24/7 at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna only. That is why. So we learned, we had 8 questions by Arjuna was answered by Krishna. Remembering Krishna at the time of death. Remembering Krishna by Yoga Mishra Bhakti. Remembering Krishna by pure Bhakti. Material world versus spiritual world. Material world is a Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Spiritual world is Goloka Vrindavan. Beautiful. There is, continuous electricity. There is no need for any electricity also, Tadbha Sayate Surya. Na Shashanko, na Pavakaha. You don't need anything. It's always illuminated only over there. So, supremacy of pure bhakti in attaining Krishna. So, ninth chapter, what are we going to do? Krishna is going to reveal his supreme glory. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhya Yoga. Secret knowledge. So, Pancha Kalpata Rubhyashta, Kripa Sindhubhyo Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Let's all chant Hare Krishna 3 times. Yes? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. Okay, so any points that you liked, any points that you felt that, yeah, I understood better, or I did not understand, or I want to know further, anything that you want to say, you want to chat, you want to write in chat also, you can write anything, any question, anything that you have, or any experience that you want to share, you may do so.